Spontaneous speaking video 46. What's up, everyone? So, I'm now in Baltimore. I just went to the PIA tour yesterday. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's pretty much the Poets in Autumn tour. It's spoken word artists Ezekiel Zonwu, Jackie Hill Perry. I was about to say Jackie Hill Preston. That's her husband's name. Chris Webb, I believe that was his name. They were fantastic, nonetheless. They were performing at Jamila's father's church and decided to come down here. And now I'm staying over at Jamila's older brother's place with his wife. I'm supposed to be heading back, catching a train in about 2 hours. And right now he's out at work. And we actually got in an ISTP video, so that's exciting. I just uploaded the ESFP deep dive interview less than an hour ago, and now I have this ISTP deep dive interview that I'm going to be working on throughout the week. Hopefully I can have it up by Friday next week. I think that you guys will really like it because he's the one who actually got me into personality typing, so it's exciting. It's going to be great. But this video is on something that me and David have discussed. This has been something that's been in my mind for a few weeks now, but now, to be honest, I need a spot like this back at my place because this is nice. I like this. Anyway, so in my mind, I see 3 different levels of development when we come to people, when we come to personality types. And that is unhealthy, healthy, and developed. Yesterday, as I was speaking to David, he brought up to me that I should actually throw in a 4th one, and that one he said I should call it delusional. And this pretty much spiraled from someone who we know believes she is. It's not you, Shalina, by the way, in case you're watching this and you think, oh my gosh, is he talking about me? No, we believe that you're INFJ, but it's someone else who we're not going to mention. She's most likely not even watching this video, but she believes that she's INFJ, and for maybe even almost a year now, me and David have been just getting hints upon hints that she's actually INFP, and it's kind of annoying because this person knows cognitive functions, and it's like, so then why do you think that these are the ones that you fit? But you know what? We're just trying to let it go. But yesterday, I guess it got on David's nerves just enough to where he's like, yo, you should make a video on this. You haven't put up a spontaneous speaking video in a while. Make a video on this and include delusional. So we're going to talk about all 4 of those, starting with unhealthy. So for me, in my opinion, unhealthy individuals, unhealthy personality types are, if we're going by cognitive functions, they are the ones who are clearly, they have not developed their auxiliary function. And if you have not developed your auxiliary function, you're not balanced. And so then you definitely have not developed your inferior function as well. And hopefully you guys understand the jargon by now. If not, you can refer back to other videos that are not spontaneous speaking videos where I actually put images and infographics to teach you. But by this point, I'm hoping that you guys already understand what I mean by dominant, auxiliary, tertiary, inferior, and all of that. And if not, just hit me up in the comments, let me know. But yes, an unhealthy individual, in my opinion, is one who has not taken the time to develop their auxiliary function. And not only that, but they are in a dominant and tertiary loop where they're pretty much, if they're an extrovert, then they're over extroverted, and if they're an introvert, then they're over introverted. They're living too much inside their head. They're living too much from their own reality that they've created. And if they're an extrovert, they're not spending enough time with themselves to actually, gain an anchor into their core, into who they are as a person, into balancing themselves, a steadiness pretty much. And unhealthy individuals can also be, manipulative or erratic or just crazy spontaneous. They make, no matter what personality type they are, they will make that type look bad. So I would say Donald Trump, in my personal opinion, is an unhealthy ESTP, for example. I believe that his TI is not developed and he's just going off of SE, like just jumps into things and he's just like, yeah, let's just go do it. Everything's just so plain and simple to him. He doesn't really think through it. He doesn't really like take the time to understand the logistics behind certain things, or he doesn't take enough time to do so. He only applies it selfishly, like when he needs to make money or something like that, but he's not using it in a way where it's effective to actually lead the country in an effective manner. And then, like I said, he's looping, so he's in an SE-FE loop, and the FE, since it's tertiary, then it's coming out in ways such as name calling, like with Hillary Clinton, and even he called. I'm not too much into politics and all that, but apparently he called the ruler of North Korea or something, Rocket Man. Why would you call somebody Rocket Man that is threatening to bomb our country? And then even looking at what he did with Steph Curry, how he invited Steph Curry to the White House along with the rest of the Golden State Warriors. And Steph apparently said, personally, I don't want to go, but it's going to be a unanimous decision with the rest of the team. And Donald Trump goes on Twitter, and he just gets in his SE-FE loop, and he has some arrogance behind him. If you didn't peep that, then you don't know how. But he's like, pretty much he's like, Steph Curry's no longer invited. He took too long to respond. He wasn't planning to go anyway, dude. Anyway, we're not here to talk too much about Donald Trump, but you guys pretty much get my point. And you guys should also note that not every unhealthy individual is gonna be, or not every bad representation of the type is gonna be unhealthy. In fact, sometimes it's either healthy or developed and not really like in between, and we'll get there. But yeah, just letting you guys know that just because you know someone who's capable of like manipulating or doing whatever does not necessarily mean they're healthy. They could actually be very developed, and that tends to go with they actually know what they're doing. So pretty much, like I said, we'll get to that. So unhealthy is I would say it's pretty much the lowest level. Or it's equal with delusional, but we'll get to delusional after the last one. So from unhealthy, you go to healthy. Healthy is the people that you see on an average basis. So healthy is literally the average mind, the average person that you run into every day. An example that I like to use is for those of you who like X-Men, or if you at least have any type of basic understanding of how superpowers work. I see healthy individuals as, okay, let's go with Matilda, actually. If you guys have ever seen Matilda, she had psychic abilities that she didn't even know that she had until one day she just noticed that she had them, and she didn't necessarily know how to control them at first. But then when she did learn to control them, then she was pretty much like, she got like a little grip, or a little like, when she became aware of those psychic powers, then she started like trying to control them pretty much. So I guess like when she wasn't aware, then she was unhealthy. And then she became healthy when she became aware of the superpowers, of her psychic powers. To bring that metaphor even deeper, I'll go with my X-Men example. If you're capable of, if you have the same powers as Magneto, and Magneto is possibly, as a healthy individual, he was capable of moving things such as a laptop or iPad or nickels and dimes, or a microwave at max, possibly, then that's a healthy individual. Someone who's using their powers on an average level. It's not anything too crazy. They haven't really spent too much time like diving into their powers, trying to stretch it to the best of their ability. They're just having fun with it. Now, the next step above healthy is developed, and this is where I come in as a life coach. So if we're still going with that Magneto example, I can meet someone and I can see the potential of, oh wow, this person is capable of, like, well, right now they're moving around microwaves, laptops, iPads, whatever it is. But I'd walk up to Magneto in the same way Professor Xavier, who's also ENFJ, would walk up to a mutant and he'd say, I can teach you how to use those powers to an ability where instead of just picking up microwaves and laptops and iPads, you could pick up a whole football stadium. Hair went off just in time too. Got really dramatic. But yes, you can pick up a whole football stadium if you allow me to coach you, if you allow me to help you out. And pretty much where Professor Xavier comes in, he has a whole school for mutants where he teaches them, these mutants who are either unhealthy or just healthy, he teaches them how to grasp their powers and use them to the ultimate max potential. In the same way, I teach people to be not only become aware of their cognitive functions, or what I call superpowers, but how to use those superpowers to their maximum potential, to be able to, if they're a Christian, the way that I like to do it is I like to tell them that, and well, not I just like to tell them, I truly believe that this is the case. I believe that God gave us not only the Myers-Briggs system, but cognitive functions in our minds in and of themselves, as superpowers, so that we could glorify Him, so that we can use them to live our best life. Why would you want to walk around operating at an average level? Who wants to be basic? Why not use your superpowers to their utmost ability? And that's that's not even kind of, that is where I come in. So as a coach, and you guys can check this out in my life coaching video, but as a coach, I pretty much help identify which personality type the person is, which will also inevitably identify which cognitive functions they're using, and whether the type is unhealthy or just healthy, which I would call basic, average. I help that person to pretty much be advanced, to be developed, so that now, if for example I've coached an INFP and they're going to a job interview, and they are opposing another INFP for that same job. Now, if I've coached an INFP, that INFP is not going to be basic. That INFP is not going to have an average level of using their FI, NE, SI, and TE. Instead, that INFP is going to have a very developed, a very aware, a very advanced way of using those cognitive functions. And it's going to show. Like, even if the boss has no idea like what MBTI is, the boss will be able to look at the INFP that I've coached, or the INFP that's taking the time to develop themselves, and be able to understand, like, wow, you're really self-aware, and you've clearly, really grown yourself as a person. I think that we need someone like you at this job, as opposed to the other INFP who doesn't even know that they have superpowers, or if they do know they have superpowers and they are aware of like their functions, they're not using it to the best of their ability. So the boss is going to pretty much look over that person, or is not going to really see as much of a need, especially when it's in comparison to the other INFP. I hope you guys are following me with that. And so that's kind of what I like to do. I like to make sure that I'm helping people become the best version of themselves. I'm helping them become advanced at using their superpowers. I'm helping them with becoming developed. Now comes the last category, which is delusional. And delusional in accordance to me and David's way of defining it, is when you believe that you are something that you are not. And some people, they do this pretty much intentionally because they want to be a certain type so badly. And if somebody else tells them that they're a different type, these are the people that get really riled up and defensive a lot of times. Like, oh, you don't know me. That's why I got on the test. You know, whatever the case may be. But other people, they may do this unintentionally because they still just want to be a certain type. And it's a small line, you know, it's a thin line between the two, but pretty much like it's kind of like fooling yourself. Like you're only literally fooling yourself. Like some people are aware, like, you know what, I might be a different type, but I'm going to focus my mind so much on being this type that I'm delusional. I don't care what other people are telling me. I don't care if everyone thinks I'm this type. I think that I'm this type. You don't know me. That's what I got on the test. Yada yada yada. Okay, cool. Or the people who are like they just firmly believe that they're actually this type. It's not that, and they firmly believe that everybody else is wrong. Like the first person believes that they could actually be mistyped, but they still want to be the type that they think that they are. The second person believes that they really are this type and everybody else is just the delusional ones. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, delusional is pretty much being in denial of who you are. And I always say this, like you can probably see it throughout all of my videos, but I pretty much always say that you never want to be an eagle that is training to be a swan or a swan that's training to be an eagle. Both creatures are beautiful. God created both creatures for a reason, and they're beautiful in their own way. So why not just accept who you are and make sure that you become the best version of who you are possible? There's only one you in the world. And so that's the 4 stages that I would pretty much go with. And I guess I'll take up just maybe like 3 more minutes to pretty much throw this last thing in there, since like while we're on the topic. Maybe no, I should just make that another video. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make that another video. So my next spontaneous speaking video is most likely going to be on how people talk about boxing. Like, oh, like 16 personalities is boxing people. I have a metaphor that I like to use about that, and I will explain it to you guys in another video. But as of now, I hope that you guys understand these 4 stages: unhealthy, healthy, developed, delusional. So yeah, thanks for rocking with me, guys, and done.